Oh, all right. It did actually get dark enough that I need to use light. I can see the green screen. There we go. Cool, we're live. Thank you for watching the VOD. If you're hearing me talk, you're probably watching the VOD. Think anybody's in here yet? No, notification hasn't gone out. Crap, when was the last time I streamed? Did I stream last week? So I went on vacation, came back, was sick. Like feeling pretty sick after vacation. Not pretty sick. I felt like I was getting sick after vacation. Yeah, so it's been a couple weeks. All right. I'm here. I just pulled latest like before dinner, and now I'm getting a issue with the editor. So if we don't get that resolved anytime soon, then I'll just play the game in the meantime. Let me just quit. Beerbox, hello. Unchained, yeah, it was good. It was just a quick week in the U.S. to knock out some stuff. We got the it was 6 flights, 2 rental cars. What? Yeah, several Ubers. What was that? We were in DC, met Nick in real life. That was extremely cool. So got to meet Nick in person, and it was honestly probably that was some of the nicest hospitality I can think of. Just really fantastic hospitality. Got to meet Nick, his family, his parents. Got to meet his wife, her family, and Nick's daughter or their daughter. So that was super cool. We got there and hadn't slept in like 20 hours. By the end of it, I think we were like up for 25 hours, 26 hours. So that was, unfortunately, I didn't eat as much as I could have because I was jet lagged. They had so much amazing food there. So I couldn't eat as much as I would have liked, which was a bummer. It was probably just off a little bit. But yeah, the flight was good. Met with Nick at Chicago the first day. Spent the night there. Flew to Philly the next day. Spent 2 days in Philly because that was the closest decent airport. So it really brought the price down on the flights to where the funeral was for my dad. My dad, we buried him with military honors at a VA cemetery, Indiantown Gap. So that was really rad. He got to be interned near his little brother, and then also in the same cemetery as his father. So that was dope. Got that taken care of. Then flew from Philly to Orlando. Spent the evening in the swimming pool at the hotel in Orlando. Spent the next day at the water park because we're going to get 1 day of vacation. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the condolences. But it was a great ceremony, and it was one of those things that at this point I'm good with it. It's all right. So we got 1 day at Volcano Bay. Consider that our vacation. Then drove up to spend the rest of the time with my stepmom and go through. My dad didn't have much stuff. He's very minimalist, which it was rad. Like, she paid me a compliment in telling me the story on that. She was like, yeah, ever since you did the minimalist thing, your dad was really diligent about like getting rid of shit that he didn't need. So yeah, yeah, so then we hopped on a flight and came back here, and that flight sucked, kind of, but whatever. 1 out of 6 flights is not bad. Then, like I said, I had like a throat thing, a little bit of a cough. It was just, I'm not used to going, man, my posture when I do this, when I'm like, I look like a goblin. Here we go. One out of 6 No, it was only one kind of semi shitty flight out of 6. Uh, is not bad. I'll take that ratio any day. Let's see and then when I got back, all of the just in and out. We're so not used to air conditioning, and America's got so much air conditioning. So it was kind of easy for us to come back and just be like, not feeling the best. Little throat, head, chest thing. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's a number of bugs at the moment that weren't there last time you guys played. You guys are like, let us in. We're like, no, we broke shit. So I pulled latest, and my editor is not being nice to me. So I figured maybe I'd just play a little bit, but we also have some bugs. So any MMO inspiration? What, during the trip? I would say Volcano Bay. The what? Oh yeah, there was some cool because it's Halloween. So I took some pictures. Thanks for the reminder. I took some pictures of they had like some pumpkins with lanterns and moss and stuff, kind of like a Louisiana kind of vibe. That was pretty cool. I dug that. So I need to post those pictures. I forgot about that. Hey Possum. I'm slipping on all the hellos. Let me say hello to everybody. That way you'll stick around and say goodbye later. Quixana, hello. Chastolo, Feared Bach, Coding Caffeine, Encrypt. Theron. It is Theron, right? It's not Theron. It's been so long since I asked you that. Now I've forgotten. Unchained, what's up? Matthias. Migs. Possum. Zaraki. Enduro. Schmonite. Class and Cool. What's going on, guys? What energy drink are we having? A Monster Aussie Lemonade. Gee Willikers. You've been cheating on Eminem with other MMOs, so disappointing and unfulfilling. Good. I mean, it's good to get out there. We're never supposed to be your only game. The agenda today was going to be doing some population work. Which I guess... No, I can't. But I pulled latest right before dinner, and now I'm getting an error. And since I'm really just like I'm a big dummy. I know how to do certain things, and I try to do them relatively well. But then when I run into snags, I'm not real good at fixing them. And then sometimes I try to fix them here on stream, and then I reveal just how bad I am at certain things, how much I don't know about certain things. Then I get self-conscious. Bez, thank you for the follow 5 minutes ago. But what I was wanting to do is, and I guess, I mean, we can try it out. I'll come back to this. Don't think I have anything top secret on my desktop at the moment. I don't think so. I thought I checked all that before stream. Yeah, I think there's some sort of change made to the editor or whatever that's not, it's not, yeah. I'll enter safe mode and see. Well, I'm not going to be able to resolve the error. I don't know how to resolve that there. Goblin art on the background? Yeah. I think this was in the last update. This was featured. The image of hair drill. He does do great work. What's up, Justin Beard? How you doing? Maybe the editor will work enough for my needs. Can you guys hear me okay? I was looking at the monitor earlier because I was recording a quick video for Nicodemus. And I see what you guys are saying in terms of, like, even in the monitor, the green's not going into the yellow. And I don't know what changed, but I'll put the mic closer to my face. I'll continue to try to be loud-ish. Excuse me. Can you hear the music at all? That should be relatively faint in the background. Somebody a couple years ago told me that asking if you guys can hear the audio well enough in every video, because he was talking about the fact that I just throw these VODs raw up onto YouTube, was very unprofessional. I got the feedback it was unprofessional. That is not the way to get to 1 million subscribers. He's going to help us do that. You ever need someone to edit? You'd love to help? I appreciate that. We've got a video guy. It's just our focus really isn't in, like, editing VODs of random streams. We stream too much for that. Twitch is casual hangout, right? Yeah. We're here. I see what you're saying, Justin. But yeah, it's casual here. I mean, if you're going to start editing the VODs to try to make them more professional, then I would actually have to start acting more professionally. And that is not going to happen. Oh, by the way, Nick's mom got me this awesome gift. We smuggled it back into the country. It's this really cute big bag of Alabama peanuts and salt to make boiled peanuts. And and because I talk about how much I love boiled peanuts, I guess. And I'm not, Nick probably clued her in on that, I think. But, she had mentioned she has watched the stream, and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no, I say some bad words sometimes. She was like, I forget what her exact response was, but it was so great. It was like something like, the bad words were appropriate for the context, sort of thing. I was like, okay, cool. So I wasn't abusing the bad words. I did bring goodies over from Germany to them. Dude, we loaded up. I wasn't sure what they'd be into, so we just grabbed like a bag and just slammed it full of candy and chocolate. Peanut stories make my day. It always comes back to peanut. Dude, boiled peanuts are the best. What are you guys saying? That's why you take volunteer to work on a YouTube version. I don't think it's worth anybody's time. Not our time. You guys shouldn't do it either. If you find some cool clips or whatever, I click this setting that lets you put the clips on TikTok or whatever the hell you people do. Whatever you kids are into. But so have at it. TikTok this shit away. Like that you're chill about how you make your videos. If anything, got a lot closer to your fans this way. I feel that it's more authentic to just do it this way. So Fearbox/producer said, no, I mean cut out the dead audio and for you and put fun things on screen. Don't put fun things on a screen though. Unless it's like, I don't know, cartoon penises like dive bombing me or something. Like something that where I'm like, why would you do that to me? But like my problem with a lot of video editing is it's so hard to I'm always worried that we shouldn't do stuff that feels fake. You know what I mean? Like I hate overly produced or overly sort of marketing looking. It starts to feel a little corporate or whatever, which can happen even at like an indie level. Like, hello, fellow gamers. Penis. I mean, here's the problem. Here's the problem with this game. I'm gonna tell you the problem with the game right now. What's up, Dark Inside? Rune, get out of that box, buddy. Nothing in there for you. He's got his nose in the pictures of my... I got some really rad photos that my dad was hiding. So now I've got a huge collection of photos of him. I've got photos of when he was undercover in Germany and in California. A couple of the undercover California photos are amazing. That's when he was doing a gun running operation. When he was in the army, he was working CID, and he was basically posing as somebody that was selling army weapons to like some organized crime back east. And dude, they looked the part for sure. It was great. So I got those photos. So anyways, I'll tell you the problem with the game. More and more of you have come out of the woodwork and like the game, and you're more excited about it than we imagined you would have been maybe originally. So now this stream is all about the game, and this isn't even my stream anymore. So now I've got to like wonder, should I be saying that? Should I be more professional today? Yeah. Look at us. We're the stream now. Oh, fuck. That meme's a coming. Oh, question, where is the practice server hosted? I don't know. You got to ask Ollie. I think it's used to be Netherlands or something. You mean like the server that we just have up? I thought it was in his desert island basement for a while, in his attic, or closet, but I think it might be hosted somewhere else now. We should probably update our expenses spreadsheet. Been a couple months, and then maybe I could get him to note where it is. Not many get their cursing approved by mothers, right? That's pretty awesome. Fearbox said, I'm so hyped for PvP and game housing. That's an interesting combo. I mean, I guess it would make sense. I guess it would make sense if it was kind of set up to be more sort of RVR, Siege, or whatever. But the way that it's set up now, when you're like, I'm amped for PvP and in-game housing, makes me think like, I don't know, just a bunch of wild roommates in a player-owned house beating each other up. What's up, Mr. Brookle? I hope Eminem never asks for our money beyond monthly sub and box price. I don't know that we're gonna ask for box price even. So far what we've said, and I don't see a reason for us to alter this. What the hell? Oh, I'm in a totally different zone than I thought I was. No, I'm not. I'm in the right zone. Some shit. It's just no. I am in the wrong zone. That's just a facade. So our plan, Possum, is we are just gonna ask for subscription. I think in the past we've never said box price. We've never said box price. I mean, if you guys really want us to charge a box price, I guess maybe we could have a petition. We could have a survey. Physical box, we have said that at some point, if we're ever balling, we'd love to have physical boxes for you to buy with shit in them. That would be awesome. So subscription. Yeah, like if we ever are super successful, then we'll be able to make stuff that you might want to buy at a reasonable price. That's our pie in the sky level of success. Like if we're really successful, we can make a cloth map for you. Yeah. Yeah, physical art book, like just cool stuff for you to have, so that you could be like, put it in a box in storage for years, like me, and then years later be like, oh wow, I remember this. The the things that we've mentioned is subscription fee, physical merchandise. At first that's gonna be print on demand, and then later cool custom shit, like maps. And we've talked about like just a little donation button. Like if you wanted to give us a little tip extra, cool, and that's kind of on you, right? So hopefully, I've seen in the years since then, people have brought up the donation button more for different things, like, I don't know, Assassin's Creed. Pay $70 and you can tip. But so hopefully people don't blow that for us and like make it really shitty feeling, just in case you want to give us a little something extra. But we haven't, none of those things are until we have the game, really. I can't wait to catapult your game house, provided it's a feature. That'll be like expansion feature. All right, questions about test server, what it costs. It doesn't cost us a huge amount. Oh, you're talking about putting a test server up. There's a lot of other reasons why we don't want to have an ongoing test server. Lots of other reasons. That said, I will, even without the team consulting the team, I will say, if someone wants to give us like $4 million, no strings attached, we'll put up a permanent test server before EA. But we'll probably also push out the EA date. There's some shit we'd probably want to add with that money, content wise. You know what? It doesn't even have to be 4, like 2. So play the lotto. Play the lotto. You want a GM summon lantern? Is that pay to win? We'll give you a GM summon lantern for 4 million if you are fine with only ever using it on test. There's a solution to the problem you mentioned. Which problem I mentioned, Migs? I've mentioned several problems. If you want to go down that route anyway, you could set up an Eminem Twitch account, but then that would also take a bit of work to separate that out and then develop a system that would consume the active Eminem streamers that want to stream Eminem stuff at that time versus their own content. Oh, I see what you're saying. Or I don't know. I could just stream Eminem and stop being a weirdo. You're here for the weirdo? Okay. We'll keep it then. Yeah, Justin B. We'll be doing a merch store. Let me switch zones. I'm in the wrong zone. Don't say. Aim for the nostalgia, stayed for the weirdo. Obvious. What's up, Keeps? Some real whales out there. Not a crazy dollar amount in terms of MMOs. No strings attached might be tricky. Yeah. We're a tricky bunch. Is Unity your go-to engine or something you adapted for Eminem? Be good. Unity was the engine that Ollie thought we could get up and running the fastest. Ooh, wow. Oh, yeah. All sorts of shit's busted. Okay. I'm not actually going to be working today. Let me check and see if somebody saw my plea for help and has a solution. Yeah. Let me give Ollie some info. Ollie, yeah, it was that check-in. What is the problem? I'm not very technical, so I'm just gonna say it's probably because the discombobulator got bifurcated. So let me pop out of here, pop back in safe mode, and give Ollie some info. Stuff's all messed up, yo. That is really my level. Shit's fucked up. Yep. Sorry, Nick's mom, if you're out there. What's the error message I get? Listen, that's private business. Zaraki. That's our private Eminem business. We don't need you getting in our business. Close your eyes when I bring this up. Don't you go meddling, judging us. How do other people... I can't believe I've worked on video games for this long and never worked in this type of setup. We were always so secretive, working behind closed doors. Now I'm in here, I'm like... Safe mode must be a plugin. It's some A-star shit. A-star update broke things. But that is the extent of my knowledge. Nothing a quick playtest won't fix. I can't even get into work if you're talking about playtest. That is some addict behavior right there. Eminem's fully out of the closet. We are open. We are fully open kimono. And when I say open kimono, picture the guy from Demolition Man. And that's me. Well, while Unity is not that guy though, he's not as cool. That guy in the background is the dude. Not Stallone. I'm not Stallone. If I was gonna be one of the two of them, I'd be Wesley Snipes for sure. But no, the dude in the kimono. Him. He's in Beetlejuice too, right? That is the kimono that is open before you. Picture an EverQuest sand giant in a kimono. Is that how you picture me? He loves pudding. By the way, today is my daily thank you for exposing me to Plex. We just watched an episode of The Old Man. Follow age. One, I don't. Is the bot even working too? I don't know that my bot does that. I think the bot's working. What did Ollie want? He wanted some error stuff. Tell me your error. Safe mode, give me a console screenshot. Man. Do you know, and it's not just the Monster energy drink talking. Do you know how much joy it brings me to hang out with you guys? You know how awesome, you know, I'm right as I'm like copying and pasting this error for Ollie, I'm like, you know how much I love Ollie? He's so awesome. You guys are awesome. What's up, best friend Beans? One R Vias. Vias? I feel like is that supposed to be like Arvias? How do I pronounce your name? How do you? It says first time chat, and you're like follow age. I would assume that your follow age is not super long if it's your first time chatting. Otherwise, you're super lurk. Justin said, I gained some weight since last test. Maybe a kimono is the answer I'm looking for. Got to get my act together. Got to manage lymphedema now. That doesn't sound fun. Yeah, dude. You got to eat healthier. Let me see if I can just get in the background. Give you something to look at. You've lurked for months because Twitch is a nightmare to get your account back with 2FA. But what's that got to do with the lurking? You didn't want to talk with your new account? Nostran says, greetings. Friend of Nick's from Vanilla Wild Days. Thought I'd drop in, have a look. Awesome. I'm glad you're here. Any friend of Nick's is a friend of mine. Or ours. Or however you want to say it. You're not going to, may not see... Nick has lots of friends. Stop it, Dito splitting. Quit being jealous. You're just jealous. You can't monopolize Nick. You've already got to compete with at least Ollie and I. Ollie and me. when you played WoW with Nick, did he repeatedly yell the same command at you when you weren't doing something right, and eventually like all caps it, and then you look over and you're like, oh shit, Nick's been talking to me, and you could sense the frustration through the screen because he keeps like running back and forth to where you're supposed to go, and then the whole time you're just talking to chat and you're not even really paying attention to shit, and you're about to die because of it. Did that happen with you as well? We gotta get some higher level characters in and running around like here. I haven't looked at some of these guys since we got more character in. Well, there we go. I was about to say. We got a number of bugs going right now. We'll get them fixed though. Man, characters look so much better than they did 4 years ago. Excuse me. Yeah, I guess post capsules, pre this stuff. How dare I besmirch the wholesomeness of Capsulemen? I made the Capsulemen, damn it. I can do whatever I want to them. Capsule skeleton, me. Capsule bat, me. Capsule fire beetle, me. Scarab, me. Capsule gelatinous cube, Nick made that one. I'm pretty sure Nick made that one. Tsunami-san said, I was wondering if you consider letting the user determine the length of capes in such garments. Some like them short and some want them flowing behind them. The challenge with that is that's something that I think we can accommodate in like trade skills, crafting. So when you're making certain things, yes. But but like if you get a cloak of flames, it should just look like a cloak of flames. You know what I mean? Like named items should just look like the named items. And then if you don't like the long haste cloak that goes in, then perhaps there's a short haste cloak of a different color out there that you may want or whatever. But at the end of the day, items with recognizable names and identities trumps transmog. Nestron says, I was so much older than everybody in our guild. I'm 53 and been MMOing since UO. Oh, nice. Yeah. I'm familiar with being slightly older than some of the folks that are around. Let me just hop in with this guy and see if I can get in and what's going on. But I sent Ollie a screenshot of the issues, so maybe we'll get them fixed while I'm still on. If not, we'll just treat this as like a, hey, I've been gone for 2 weeks. Good to see you again kind of stream. And if you don't like that, then whatever. I've got the feeling. I really should upgrade our M&M account to be like Prime or a subscription or whatever. Sarenth! I didn't say hi to you. I'm sorry, buddy. And you came in here a bit ago. Dozakar, hello. I've been gone for 2 weeks. I forgot how to do this. For some reason, I thought I responded to you, Sarenth. I'm sorry. The one Matthias, every time I see your name now, I think General Mattis, because I've been on the flight. I've been listening to a audiobook on the history of JSOC, and his name features in that, of course. So, Mad Dog. Cool, man. I'm glad you like it. It's an awesome book. Any Anarchy Online players? I wish John was in here. He is huge. John NS, huge Anarchy Online guy. He I think he like even he was part of their volunteer like moderation team and stuff like that. Played a bit. I was really hoping that Anarchy Online would be a bit more cyberpunk when it first came out. Obviously, it's not meant to be. So I played some Anarchy Online, and then I played the wacky German cyberpunk game. What was it called? It was really not good from a technical standpoint. But I played it. They had a strip club in there. It was wild. Very German. We'll see if I can make it in. Will there be any strip clubs in M&M? Well, we've got the bathhouse. That's a club, kind of, in which we were going to make it so that you had to pay an admission fee to get into the bathtub. So it's a bit of a coin sink. But it's kind of like a club. And then you strip in it, or you can. I don't know. Would that be crazy if we had like brothels in our game? Is that... I don't know that you'd be able to buy anything, but just thematically. ESR rating changing overnight. I don't think we're going to have an ESR rating. Maybe that'll be the next survey. We'll see if we get engagement with that. Will their blueberry butt cheeks hang out? Quixana. First of all, it took me a second to get the reference because I had references stacked in a queue. And the first reference was like a Riff Raff song. I was like, I wonder if he ever said blueberry butt cheeks in a Riff Raff song. And then after that, it was Dark Elves and EverQuest. We'll see. I may not be getting into the game at all tonight. Neither through the through the client or through the editor. I don't know that we'll, even if we have something like that in game, I don't need it's not going to be a big... Oh, did I just run the wrong way? Is the game working for me? I just got into the client, but the editor is... Well, I sent you the screenshot. How you doing, Ollie? Isn't that that's a classic move, right? Log in and then run into the zone line on accident. I thought I was in Night Harbor, but I guess I was in Shaded Dunes. Ollie broke the game. You're tired? Did you play tennis today? Ollie has been crunching at one of his other day jobs. Low energy tennis? Isn't that called pickleball or something? No, I'm asking. I'm not making. I'm not sorry if any of you are professional pickleballers. I'm not making fun of you. I just. It was very a kids say the darndest thing kind of moment for me. I think. I poked the pickle bear. Why does everything sound like Riff Raff lyrics to me tonight? I poked a pickle bear with the blueberry butt cheeks. Versace. But let's see. Dito's Pudding says, I don't think you pay to go to bathhouse, but randomly you may have your items stolen by tiny gnomes. We need to put wall lockers in that you pay for. You put your gear in a locker. I think Nyx actually created the ability for us to prototype that. Zukin! What the? Ollie. It's not possible. I didn't turn. Ollie is teleported my character to. He created a special zone that's basically, it looks like it's the same zone in both directions, and it's just this tiny sliver of a zone with two massive zone lines. Okay, look, there's shit in front of me. Rotting skeleton. Okay, we made it. Background looks sick. Is that the loading screen? Yeah, that was the loading screen. If there's an owlbear camp with a pickle barrel at launch, I will die happy. Best friend beans, now abbreviated to just be beans. What is the reference? I realize that's a reference, but I don't get it. Do I have a light source? Be good, thank you for the follow. I got a bunch of scout necklaces. I got a bunch of random shit, but I don't have a light source. Tech staff, alright. This is a legitimate character. This is not a cheat character. So let me, I guess, go buy a light source so you guys stop, because you'll start telling me that it's too dark for streaming and blah blah blah. What's up, Bill? How you doing? Kill a beetle. Fair point. I'm level 7. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm doing something on another monitor. Let me know if something bad's happening. Okay. I was gonna check and make sure that the noises weren't too loud. Well, that's just his leg. I can bask in the glow of his butt. Doing a little cliff work, right on. I would like zone over there and talk to you about it, but I don't know. I kind of feel like keeping the community in the dark a little bit about that zone for now. We've got some areas and zones, and we've got some zones and stuff that you guys don't know anything about. We've got secrets. You may think that we blab everything, but do certain races have innate night vision like infravision and stuff? Kaladar, certain races will have, if it's not a forced innate, they will at least have the ability to pick that trait. I don't think we've finalized that decision. We got so much cool shit folks don't know about now. It's true, Zukin. It's nice. It's nice that we're starting to stockpile it. D-Loves Pudding says Eminem has got the best zones, the greatest zones ever. Zones so filled with zone stuff, the best. People say that. We don't say that, but people say that. But we do have the best zones. Would you have Druid Wizard only zones that you have to teleport your group into? You mean the only way that you can get into them is by having a wizard or a druid teleport you into it? Oops. No, we don't have any of those yet. Should be fixed if I pull. Thank you, Ollie. I will verify it right now, my dear friends. Ollie has been giving me advice on getting my first espresso set up. Cause I really like espresso. Until people start talking about like notes of, it's got notes of pine straw and strawberries. That's taking it too far. I like a solid coffee drink. That's what we learned at the Heavy Metal Festival, because Jasmine and I, we haven't been drinking. So we had a lot of really great lattes at the Heavy Metal Festival. All right, so let me pull and see if we can fix this. Show full output. Okay, let me clear this. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm not reading chat. I've got whatchamacallit open at the moment. Horse tree. No. Well, all right. Jasmine just walked in. She's got a face mask on. Jasmine, are you scared of clowns? You don't like clowns very much. Well, don't look in the mirror. Oh, shit. Let me grab latest again before I get murdered. Jasmine, are you a peanut? Because you just got roasted. All right. I'm grabbing stuff now. Unchained said, funny story. My father took my brother and I to a Renaissance festival in Waxahachie when we were children. There was a guy on an elevator podium selling pickles from a barrel. He whipped one out and started slinging pickle juice on the crowd. Be blessed by the holy pickle juice. Good times. Oh man, I hope it wasn't warm and then you smell like pickles the rest of the day. Masteron says, I have a DeLonghi espresso maker. My neighbor sells coffee beans. Oh, that's rad. All the espresso makers are like really expensive though. So Ollie found, and then he was like, yeah, but then the grinder is the really important expensive part. I'm like, holy shit, I'm not looking to invest like $700 in coffee drinks. I'll just go to the store. We drink instant coffee. Like we're not super finicky. But he found like a hand press espresso thing that was $100 and a coffee grinder that he said would be good enough that is also $100. So I'm good with that. Let's see what happens here. I think I'll have to restart the editor. Not an AeroPress. That's interesting. Is that considered like an espresso press? Because I've seen those as well. This is like a hand one. The flare is what it's called. So I'm about to, I think, is the AeroPress good as well? Should I get that one instead of the flare, Ollie? What if we want to take it camping? Your wife bought a $1,000 machine. She's made about 5 cups of espresso with it. Baller. How much do you want to camp with your espresso? I don't know, man. I don't think we need to take it with us camping necessarily, but... Compiling scripts, Ollie. So you've had $1,000 espresso machine for 5 years, and you've had 5 cups of coffee out of it. Ollie, Defiant Possum is really trying to sell me on the AeroPress, and I'd seen AeroPresses before, so. Chaz Solo says, couldn't agree more. I use mine almost every day. I didn't even know that counted. AeroPress. I'm starting to think I wouldn't have been able to. Okay. It looks like it's reloaded and it's fine. I have a French press. Not sure if it's the same thing. I don't believe it is. French press is different than espresso. Dita Pudding says, I'm a pour over coffee creep. I drink blue bottle beans with a fellow pour over setup. Dude, you're so fancy. I pictured like one of those steampunk coffee drip setups in your Tesla. Mocha pot. What's a mocha pot? Those of you that are here to learn about monsters and memories today, you're not going to learn a ton about it. I apologize. We're going to be screwing off a bunch, I think, and talking about coffee. They don't pay me enough to always be on point. We got one of these things. We've been taking this thing camping forever. Like this thing? John says, I use the AeroPress and like it. Got a little suspicious of microplastics though, so I switched to glass French press. I'm going to recommend Aero. I think the microplastics have already got me. I'm 50 years old. The plastics are in my brain. But I think that's probably the only place they are. Everything else is pretty solid. Yeah, so we got one of these. If this is good enough, then we're probably good. Then we just need the fancy grinder. They make glass and metal AeroPress? Well, I'm going to look that up right now. This one is the plastic one, yes? Oh, look how small it is though. All right, we'll probably start with it. Oh, what's up with that filter? Is that filter not reusable? Look like a paper filter. That doesn't work. That's how they get you. Oh, there's a stainless steel filter. That's reusable. It's got to be. Brew, rinse, repeat. Guys, you guys got to get on top of your game. Got to get all the facts. And just drink water. I have water as well, Turnip. I'm American. I need some sort of drug in my system. And caffeine just happens to be the one that I am into. Eggnog is fantastic, Justin Beard. What's up, Hindo? Cool. There's a place in town that does Turkish coffee. That was an interesting experience. I don't know that I've ever had Turkish coffee. I've seen some really great commercials for it. And I mean, like half my neighborhood is essentially Turkish. So in theory, I should have access. I have I've had a number of Turkish teas. The guys at my barbershop, they give me tea all the time. It's really nice. We still working on Fallen Pass? Yeah, so basically let's see, Chinny D's in helping finish out propping for this lower area here. So lower Saman. Chinny's working on doing propping in here. And I've been coming into the upper part of it here. So I guess this is kind of the mid part. And working my way up to do population work in upper Saman. And I think with basically Saman upper and lower done, then we're pretty good. Because here's what we've got in so far. So I've just been did you see how far Nicodemus' daughter made it through towards, I think, Fallen Watch without dying to aggro? No, I didn't see that one. It makes sense though. It's fairly feasible. Nothing's been populated here. This is kind of a spoiler. You guys probably haven't seen this area yet. And this area down here is the area I was saying still needs a fair amount of work. So, but it's rad. It's rad if she was dodging through. That sounds fun. So we've got these guys in. And then there's another area in Glass Flats that I'm fairly certain you guys haven't seen that I want to work on, but I wasn't sure how much I wanted to work on that in front of you. And I was thinking maybe instead I'd have that just be a nice surprise for folks if and when they go in there. Hindo, if you know the link to the specific VOD, link it for me, and then I will. Like the aesthetic of Glass Flat so far. I'm guessing some of the spots I found may eventually have mobs. There are a few areas I know have like some hidden caves and things like that that have nothing in them. But more and more, it's getting near completion. So it may just be that there's certain areas that are sparse. Have we hinted has he hinted when the next playtest is? Jubilicers, I'm right here. Nistron, awesome. Thanks for stopping in. Good luck with your demo. Hopefully you get the outcome that you seek. Cool. Thank you, Hindo. Nick was lurking. Nick was just waiting for you to run. He didn't want to have to answer for his crimes. He does that. He's a lurker. But yeah, so for those of you that have been watching the streams or the VODs pretty regularly or whatever, and you're like, oh man, why are we seeing the same zone so much? Apologize for that, but more and more as we go, they'll probably, you may see that in at least my stream. I don't know other people's streams as well. You may see a bit of that because there's definitely stuff that it's just, we really want there to be things that you haven't seen on stream that you run into in game. So more and more there's stuff that's like, okay, I'll just work on that when I'm not streaming, and then I'll go back and work on this other thing. So I think between just as crazy, like my schedule has been really, you know, which is everything that's gone on in the last month or so. It's really sort of broken my schedule up a bit. And then with my other responsibilities outside of like just Basepop work and things like that, that's also eaten up a bit of time. So I just kind of, I've been saving stuff like this a little bit for streams and then chipping away at it off stream some, but then there are other things that I'm like, oh, we definitely don't have those discussions on stream, and we, you know, just don't work on it on stream. So you may see a lot of kind of redundant, like, oh, if I'm seeing the same zone over and over again, even as we move forward, and maybe it'll just be a certain area of a certain zone or whatever, but trying to get a little bit better about not showing you all the bits and bobs. Strand, if you're still out there, thanks for that. I just saw what you said. Hey, Pattis. Zukin streams always the same zone, but not always the same character or monster or whatever. So I think with his stuff, it's inevitable that you see a lot of what we're doing. When is the next playtest, if you don't mind me asking? We don't know. We've got some, like, we've introduced some new bugs that made a couple things even worse than the last playtest. Just not worse, but like we've introduced new bugs. So definitely not in the, you know, in the super near future. Do I still remember the Soldier's Creed? Absolutely not. I'm super bad at like rote memorization. I knew it at the time, but I don't remember the Soldier's Creed. I don't remember the Ranger Creed. I don't remember the Infantry song or the Infantryman's Creed. Nick and I were talking about quest stuff yesterday. Like we were just reviewing some shit. And I don't even remember the quests that I put in the game. The starter quest. I was racking my brain trying to remember, like, is there another part, or did this come before that? Like, I don't know, man. I'm getting old. People come in, they're like, oh, you know, you worked on blah 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 on EverQuest. I'm like, did I? Okay, that sounds awesome. Good job. Do you have a targeted goal of how many players you want to get on each server at the same time? It would be a moving target as more of the game is implemented, right? Because it's less about how many players we have on a server at the moment and more about how many players we have in given zones. And then I think even as the world grows, there'll be a conversation to be had about like optimal maybe community size, but that'll be a separate discussion. But I mean, even just with the handful of zones that we have, it's kind of a big world already. And so then when the rest of the world gets fleshed out as we work towards 1.0, I mean, we'll be able to support a lot. So I guess we'll see. Yeah, check it out. We have, if you click that link, it brings up this. And it's got a bunch of information on it. And then in the middle here, But if you haven't checked out this page, there's a lot of cool stuff. It's our development roadmap, in history. We do a breakdown of costs and post-launch plans. We have the FAQ. Nice overview here. And then in the FAQ, it gets in and goes through and lists out the zones that we're planning on having for launch. So, and there's a couple more little ones that aren't on this list that will be going in as well because we've already got them. The guys are already putting content in them. So we got some like little mini dungeons and stuff that aren't a part of this list yet. So what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 plus for early access. And like a zone is not a zone is a zone. Like different zones have different scales. I mean, like look at, even this doesn't seem, maybe it doesn't seem that big, but it's when you're in here running around, it's pretty huge, and it's, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here. So I'd say there's probably at least, I don't know, there's probably at least 5 crush bones in here. What was the thought behind the evil dwarf being more like a real rock and shaped as, and rock and shape as, I guess you mean like as a rock, as opposed to just a dark elf version of a dwarf? The original thought was just to do something that's like a more traditional deep dwarf, but when Goblin came on board and we were talking about like he was really pitching a lot of diversity in the body types, right? Like having some just unique profiles and so that we've got some really unique shapes. And so we all started talking about that more, and he was pushing something that felt a little bit more like, you know, can we do something that feels, it hits an archetype that's, I think maybe an analog would be like the WoW Undead or something, like something that just feels a little quirky and different and not necessarily flesh and bone, and right. And so we started talking about that more, and then with regards to lore, it immediately triggered just ideas with regards to the dwarves. Our dwarves have a very specific origin. And then we started getting into how that could actually relate to the deep dwarves origin, and then that relates to a bunch of stuff we've never discussed before with regards to, you know, different planes of reality and things like that. And so it got really easy to sort of get into them really fast. And so that's kind of, that was the original thought. The original thought was something that was more about like aesthetics and player archetypes, you know, or appealing to just different mindsets. And then it quickly became like a fun thing in lore and everything else. And it doesn't, see the thing, it doesn't preclude us from having something that feels like a more deep dwarf style dwarf later either. Will we visit planes of reality like the spirals or Umbra? I think it's inevitable that you get some exposure to them. They're so core to our universe. Dwarven females are so similar to males in appearance and voice, it's hard to tell them apart. Ours? I don't believe that. Who said goodbye earlier? Enduro said goodbye. See you, Enduro. Drezot said, gotta jump in. The different planes of reality reminds me that the planes in EQ were thin, i.e. one zone or a few tiers isn't the same as true depth of lore and experience. Yeah, I mean, but it was fairly consistent with the EverQuest experience, though. Don't you think? I mean, I feel like the EverQuest planes were a very EverQuest presentation of the planes. Have you considered character creation penalties as well, so we could take more skills if we took a penalty or two as well? It's something that has come up in discussion. I don't know that we'll do it, but yeah, we've talked about it. It's just we'll have to see where we land with the traits and stuff. Guy didn't seem to fit the lore, wasn't continued. A lot of what happened in EQ was like, at least while I was there, is you just kind of make fun stuff, and then sometimes it's really not valid. You know what I mean? Like it's not like there was a big lore justification or whatever. You just wanted to do it. So that happened a lot in EQ. I mean, that's happened a lot in like every game I've worked on. And that zone is and still is Terabad. You don't like it? That's fine. I didn't work on it. I'm fairly certain Plane of Sky was in before I was even officially a designer. Hindo, that is the reason why it's like, it's one of those things we discuss and then we're like, how do we want to balance this? Are we going to balance this? Is it one of those things where we don't care about the balance that much? What's the fallout going to be? Is it worth it? So. The rule of cool. The rule of cool is important. Like it's great to build a really good, strong underlying lore foundation and have good justification for stuff and a solid history. And I feel like this project, and I'm not just bullshitting you guys on this, I say it to everybody we bring on the team. I'm like, oh, check out our Confluence, and here's some of the stuff we've been working on. And you know, like I feel like this project's probably, yeah, even because when I worked on DC Universe, like DC Comics didn't give us a lore Bible. They just said, here are boxes of comics, figure it out. So I'd say we've got the most robust lore Bible that I've... Oh no, that's not true. Frickin' Star Stable Online, the online horse adventure game for girls, still has this beat at the moment with regards to lore Bible. But we're working on it. I think for a game that is at the stage that this one is at, we're doing a good job on both like kind of lore documentation shit. There's a lot of work to do. I'm not going to try to lie to you. There's a lot to do there. That's also why we're bringing on an editor / writer. But Star Stable Online it was the only company I've interviewed at and the only project that I've seen where they, when I went there for an interview, they handed me like a hardbound, beautifully covered lore Bible that was like a couple inches thick, beautifully illustrated. And I was like, holy shit, this is the coolest thing I think I've seen. And that's where I discovered that the online horse adventure game for girls, based on a Scandinavian island where you run around with your girlfriends and you ride horses, actually had some of the deepest lore that I've seen, at least in a lore Bible put together for a project. I was like, okay, that's pretty crazy. And that was one of the things that really impressed me with them. Like 50,000 years of history for that island going back, and it's actually like this weird Lovecraftian storyline and all sorts of shit. It's really great. I just had to look up Star Stable Online. Yeah, if you look it up, you would not believe it, I think. Let me see. Let's see what their website looks like now. It's been a while. Star Stable Online. Let's see. Have they updated it? A horse game full of adventures. I like that they're doing that now. There was a big argument when I was there. Yeah, this looks rad. When I was there was this big argument between the development team and the marketing team about what was the identity of the game. And it was like, it's just about riding horses in, you know, like dressage and equestrian shit. And all the women that were working on the game were like, no, it's, you know, there's this cool lore and there's these adventures and blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, they have a lot of really just great storylines and cool adventure in there. And their lore is really fantastic. But yep, it was, I really liked working on that game. I liked, is there much lore posted anywhere for which game? See you, Mr. Cow. Hey, John. So it's cool to see that they're embracing that now. Drazot says, just make sure there's few Easter eggs down each lore route and you'll be solid. I remember the effing note in the pocket of the giant Warstick woods that was never figured out or didn't go anywhere. Oh, love that stuff. There'll be plenty of that in each system. Yeah, if you haven't been following, there's a lore channel in our Discord. Here, you can find our Discord here. Getting Distracted said, join forces with Jorvik's Soul Riders and our magnificent soul horses as you embark on a journey to combat an evil plot that threatens the island's druid magic, the source that makes this place truly unique. Oh man, it runs super deep because the horses aren't just horses, at least for the Soul Riders. And the mean girls in the school that you're always like in competition with and blah blah blah, they're not actually girls. They're like Lovecraftian demons that have been around for like 50,000 years. You should see them in the lore Bible, not bullshitting, during World War II, because it goes through the full history. During World War II, those girls actually went over and were not a part of the good team, the mean girls, and they always look like the same age throughout history. But they're like these mean girls in little Nazi outfits and stuff in really great illustrations within us. I'm thumbing through and I'm like, what? They're actually evil generals. They're these evil like demons that are just in the form of the mean girls. But it's I'm telling you, I thumbed through that book and was like, oh my god, I cannot wait to work on this property. But it just became such a like, and I don't want to say that, like, we were making good progress in getting some of that introduced and stuff, but then we ran into a bit of like the studio creative director that was there was an older guy, and I don't want us to veer off too into like taboo topics in the stream. But what wound up happening was we have a studio. It's an online game for girls. We wound up, during this era of it, we probably weren't over 100 people yet, but we were probably like getting close to 100 people. About 60% of the studio was female, and we are restructuring leadership. There's a lot of like this, how do we restructure ourselves to become a bigger company, stuff that was going on. Spent a lot of time in meetings and meetings about meetings. And so we're building like a very modern style, like flat, everybody's got to say leadership team, right? So we couldn't have a meeting without like 25 people in the room. And so, and then various representatives from different parts of marketing were in there. And marketing was very much about like, oh, we just did a deal with Jojo Siwa. And so, yeah, we need to have Jojo Siwa in the game. And then like, and it was just like this weird, like, cause the game's for teen and tween girls. And we've got this cool adventure IP. And I'm like, guys, this is the island, and like there's stories related to what could be other games, all sorts of stuff set up in there. And it's just like we can make a really great game for like, this is a generational opportunity. This is the way I would always pitch it, is like this could be this generation's Nancy Drew, right? Because there's badass shit going on here. And you know, I like that the avatars were all like, you can only play a girl. This is a game about sisterhood. It's like, cool. We got a clear target audience, and you know, it's niche. But that said, like while I was there, we had 450,000 monthly active users. During COVID, they got up to like 700,000 monthly active users. So it's solid. While I was there, we had built up a publishing division, you know, vertical. We had a publishing vertical doing books and stuff, and they've got books out and comics. And then we had a music vertical that we built with this guy Jimmy, who's awesome. So like characters, the Miscreants are like a punk sort of rock band in the game. You can find posters in the game and stuff, and you could listen to their music in the game. And the characters in the game, the company went out and found like a female Swedish like rock punk kind of group, and they would actually dress up because they wore masks and stuff, and would do real shows as the band from the game, right? So the Miscreants are a real thing. You could listen to them on Spotify, and one of the Soul Riders, the four main sort of protagonist characters that you're aligned with, Lisa Peterson, is like, there's a woman that we hired who does her voicing in music, and so you can listen to Lisa's music in real life, right? So, and this was going to go out to like other games that kind of fit within this storyline and IP and all this stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of push for and we're starting to do like video, so they're going to make like little cartoon series and all this stuff. And yeah, so it's super cool. I was like, man, this could be a crazy company by the time we're done with it. Because one of the reasons why we had such a solid audience is just because of how specific it was and how true to what it was aimed to be. And honestly, that experience was a very defining experience for the idea behind like, do we want to make M&M, right? Because between that and the game I worked on before that, I saw you can have a very solid business. You can have a because I've worked on niche games where the valuation of the project, or in the case of like Star Stable, the valuation of the studio is super solid. Like it's a valuable studio, and that we were making really good money back then, and it's only grown since then. And now it's on multi-platform and all that stuff, right? So it's got to be doing just only better, and it was doing great while I was there. So that kind of tuned me in on like, hey, just focus, make something niche, and then see if you can make it good enough, and if the niche is big enough. The internet's a big ass place, so if you've got a solid little niche, then boom, you can be good. But taking it all the way back to the origin of this part of this tirade is the guy who was kind of the dude responsible for that lore Bible, and the creative director at the time just didn't really click with a lot of the women on the team. And there was a lot of stuff that was like, yeah, well, that's something that a guy would like, was the response to a lot of like the stuff that was there. It was like, but at the end of the day, it looks like we finally went in that direction with the project anyways and stuff, at least with aspects of it. And so eventually it just got into just, we don't want to do this stuff because this dude wrote it or whatever. And they were really kind of getting away from a lot of the cool shit that was in there. I was like, oh. So, you know, and that was a factor, and ultimately one of the factors in me kind of going, you know what? I'm chief product officer here, but I'm, you know, running into situations where if I'm in charge of product, but then I hear stuff like, yeah, but you're a guy, so you don't know the target audience, because what do you know about being a, you know, 14-year-old girl? And it's like, I just know what seems like badass product. So, you know, that's the kind of thing where that type of stuff plus other factors just like, I think I'll move on, do something else with my time. Especially because I honestly felt, based on where we were at valuation wise as a company, I was like, oh man, this could easily be, and it'll sound crazy to you, but just knowing what I knew at the time, I was like, this could easily be a company that's valued at like 500 million to $1 billion before it's all said and done. And it just wasn't there. So anyway, is there a reason why you guys decided not to have holy type damage? No, no real reason. I don't know. Badger Nick about it. Maybe we'll find some would there be holy versus like corruption, or would there be holy, unholy, and corruption? Because I do think corruption and unholy would be different. Unholy damage should work versus gnomes. If you're doing unholy damage, it would work against gnomes, because gnomes. Gnomes are the chosen people. I had to stop before I said that. I didn't want to. I was like, am I even allowed? Am I allowed to say that? Even if it's a positive? I mean it in a positive. Does that mean hitting somebody with a gnome does holy damage? Because you hit somebody with a gnome, you're gonna whip that whole ass. What are your thoughts about the night is too dark feedback? Do we all need to buy HDR monitors to make the night look correct? Fish guts. When you link those two questions in that manner, it kind of makes me want to just say yes. It makes it easier to answer. My thoughts about the night is too dark feedback is the same thing that we tell people all the time, which is we'll continue to look at it as we get closer to early access, and kind of see, especially with the hardware question, how we feel about things. But the goal of the night is to be, the goal for dark is for it to be dark. Then the question is, in different situations, like if I'm outdoors and it's a clear sky and there's full moons, should it be as dark? No, it should be lighter than when there are no moons. Or if it's raining and it's dark, or storming, should it be really pretty dark? Yes. If you're in a dark dungeon with no light source and there are no torches or other environmental light sources around, then it should be very, very dark. And that makes for bad streaming response is kind of like, I guess it makes for bad streaming then. Tell the streamer to get a light source, and then or help them get a light source, because they're streamers, so you should be giving them free shit anyways. Hey Sparrow, what's going on? Happy hump day to you as well. Is the darkness on the darkness question, is infravision working the way you wanted to, or is that currently broken? It was working pretty good, and then we've been doing so many different like lighting tweaks with regards to like how lighting actually works, not necessarily the values. So we've been making a bunch of lighting tweaks over recent months, and I think that fudged up infravision a bit. So like I said, we've got about a year before we hit the oh shit, we really need to get everything locked down for early access launch. So in those next 12 months, we'll be looking at it. Thanks, Check. I agree. Dark should be dark, and then infra and ultravision should come into play too. Yeah, the biggest question I have with like infra and ultravision is whether or not we can, whether or not the penalty is going to work, like the stuff that we've done with like the day blindness and stuff like that. So Chex likes the darkness. Firefly likes the darkness. That's you, right, Jason? Hey, buddy. Getting distracted likes the darkness. Hey, Nicodemus. Oh, yeah. Good luck with the weather. I just glanced at your post in Slack about that, Nicodemus. Yeah, the fish guts, you're 100% correct. Right now, one of the challenges we have, like if the darkness didn't vary dependent on your hardware, it would be so easy for me to answer the question and just say we're good with the darkness. And then Mig says, I think there should be a dynamic night cycle, that it can be pitch black or the moonlighting can make up. It used to do that. It really did used to do that. But like I said, we've done some lighting changes, and that doesn't seem as obvious or prominent anymore. So that's something we need to look at, because that really was cool about being in game, and different depending on where the moons were. You would have that light coming from the moons and it would lighten things up, and then depending on which like moon cycle it was, it would vary a bit. So, and that was really cool, and it'd be nice to preserve that. Getting distracted says, I like dark being dark. I will say though, it seems like it's always nighttime. No, it's just nighttime is more noticeable when it's Not like that night is longer. If you look at the current implementation of Pantheon, the darkness is really only countered by a light source. If that were the case in M&M, then I could see racial bonuses needing a solid penalty to something else. Well, what do you mean? Because there is no infravision or whatever in Pantheon? Is that what you mean? Do I have a favorite of the three moons? Not yet, but I will. As it relates to some lore stuff. I for sure will have a favorite moon. Why is FM your favorite moon right now? Sparrow, how have you been? FM is fun to say, like FM radio. Drazut, did you hear my earlier question? Oh, there he is. Probably typing. Sorry. More along the lines of infravision, ultravision would be so big impact. Yeah, I mean that's the challenge. That's why we were playing with that's why we were playing with like day blindness. Did you see the implementation of day blindness? We've played around with it in the past. There's some felt like it was going in a fun direction, but still it's a bit hard to balance. Yeah, I wonder, is that different than sandstorms? The day blindness? Yeah, it was very different. I'm trying to think if we have a video. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to show you the old day blindness stuff. Would they be torch blind underground? I don't know if Chip had it triggering. There was that fluctuation, like when you're around people with torches, your ultravision was like switching off and stuff, but I don't know that you got blindness from it. Hold on one sec. Let me finish this thing that I'm doing and then I'll simple go home. Oops. Cool. Let me see if I can find it, day blindness. If Chip was in here, I could just ask this from no, that one, that was how would it be countered? Like an anti-light source? So I was thinking you could, yeah, you could eventually get some sort of hardware, but just assume there's some spells that you could get, right? Not like a full sphere of darkness or anything like that, but something along those lines. Nick and I were talking about different utility spells and stuff yesterday, so it opens up an opportunity for like a utility spell potentially. Destroy the sun, yes, that would be man, I'm trying to find somebody send me a DM, maybe it is. Oh, there it is. So Chip just said, day blindness kicks in when the overall brightness is over a threshold. So in theory, something other than daylight could kick it in, but in practice, nothing makes the whole scene bright enough for it to happen. Oh, right on. Chip, if you're out there, which I assume you'd have to be, otherwise this was the most random coincidence. I'm trying to find a cool video of day blindness, and I know there's got to be something in Slack. I'm just not finding it right now. Darkness and Memories. I like it, Justin Beard. Rolling through. Liz Biscuits, how you doing? I did not. My day got away from me. I did not make it to your stream. I feel bad about it. But hopefully everything's going well with you. Did you wind up streaming it? I would find your stream to be very relaxing. I can't find. Oh well. How old is this video? October of last year. Is day blindness kind of like being snowblind? Yeah, Bill. Okay, you can see it on YouTube. I've done my back end, so I'm crippled. Yeah, I did 2. I intended to do another 1 or 2 this weekend. Well, that's no fun. Sorry to hear that. Not the best one. I don't think, but still, it'll illustrate the point. So it's something along these lines. As Chip said, this may not be the best video of it, but it's kind of going in this direction. But like even that's not as it's hard to make it as limiting and terrifying as is darkness. If we did more with stats, then we could probably bounce it a little bit better. Could make it tunnel vision. Oh, interesting. Make it a little more tunnel vision-y. Yeah, because then you'd really have to like be looking around. So we had this. Day blindness makes it so you can't use anything in your offhand because you're shielding your eyes. That's so crazy it might work. Actually, I don't know how to do this in Paint. There's no invert selection that I know of. Yeah, good luck with that. I can't fill around it because I can't adjust the sensitivity. So anyways, but I see what you're saying. I get it. Darken around the edges like you're squinting. Yeah. Tsunami. I think the tunnel vision squinty thing. I don't know if we explored that or not. We might have explored that and deemed it nah, but Canva is better than Paint. I already did it with Bounty Code. Often he's a Paint guy. Yeah, I mean usually for what I need it for, it does the trick. Reminds me of having eyes dilated, reduced field of view from squinting, everything blurry in a distance. Yeah, I don't know if we've done that. We haven't done the tunnel vision thing on top of might be worth trying. Combo of tunnel vision audio reduction would be a good effect. It's how it works in real life for me. I can't see, which means I can't hear very well either. Tell us your funny story, Justin Beard. I turn the radio down to see better. Like if I'm backing up or in a vehicle or whatever, I turn the radio down to make sure that I'm able to see well enough to not drive into something. Justin Beard said, before I had cataract surgery about 12 years ago, my cataracts were super thick. They were so thick that after the dilated eye exam, I didn't need to wear the glasses because the cataracts block so much light. Oh, shit. This says, I took XW to get his done, and he thought they had to be like, had to put like a pirate patch on and couldn't work out what I was looking at until I told him. It was see-through. Apparently, he had gotten so bad he had no vision out of that eye, so his brain had gotten used to ignoring it. Oh, wild. I had Charles Bonnet syndrome. That was fun. That is not as good a syndrome as Lisa Bonet syndrome. I'd much rather have Lisa Bonet syndrome. Super squeamish of eyeballs. It's weird. Like, I've had contact lenses for so long that I've gotten used to just like putting them in and out on the fly, or if I get something on my eye, it's just like touching my eyes is super normal. I've never had surgery on my eyes. Charles Bennett syndrome is when you have hallucinations because you have such vision loss. Your brain just makes up stuff. Well, that's wild. Time for some flying eyeball brain monsters. We have flying eyeball monsters. We don't have flying eyeball brain monsters. Yeah, what did you see? Good question, D Loves Pudding. What did you see? Is it just like little hallucinations? Dress out. We have a floating eyeball that is totally not a beholder. Birds, buildings, flowers. That all seems like decent stuff. I mean, I guess it could be a bit distracting. But do the eyeballs petrify you? They can. They could. They're Are they sociopathic? Sometimes. Burp, 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 burp. Yes, it was very quick. Kind of the hallucinations I have now, which are totally different, not related vision. It's actually kind of fascinating. Your brain essentially hallucinates some reality. I think my brain's hallucinating most of my reality. I would never be shocked to find out that none of this is real. Um, um, did a fast mock-up of day blindness tunnel vision with some blur. Put it in Slack. Oh, yep, I see it. I was picturing like an actual like round tunnel though. XV says, "Did you see Evercraft online playtest October 18th weekend? Not sure. Not that I ever want to remove weekends for possible M&M playtest, but hope there's no conflict there. There won't be a conflict there. We love those guys. If you're not familiar with Eco, we have a command here. There you go. Type in Eco and you can go to their website and find out more. Excited for it. You're going for a squint look, but I still even I see what you're saying, but even with squint, maybe the rounded edges. Yeah, time is flying, Bill. Yeah, if you haven't played in any of the Evercraft playtests, you really should. And if you're not familiar with it and you look at the like the voxel Minecraft art style, and you think that may not be for me, if you actually play it, I think you'll be surprised. The gameplay is great. Are there play features that you think M&M is doing or will do significantly better than original EQ? I think getting you into the class fantasy faster. I think our moment to moment gameplay, combat, and just sort of the class and combat experience will be a nice evolution of that gameplay. Over time, we'll have more trait skills and hopefully have them feel more integrated into the world in game. Think greater interaction with the world through things like the mud actions and our content scheduling using the various different conditions that we have. You know, for example, lunar cycle or weather or whatever. Hoping religion shapes up. We've got a proposal out there for the team. Hoping religion shapes up to feel a little bit more immersive and feel better, so that you're not just kind of picking your god when you're first going in and you're like, hey, I'm amped on this, and it's got a little bit of factional implication. Like I'm amped on the lore and the images I've seen. Oops, that is not our stuff. So I'm gonna hit pause, go back. Go to our playlist. I'm going to hit play all again, and then I'm going to make sure it's looping this time. Let's see. The fact that you can switch between gods and, you know, we'll see how that works out with regards to benefits and some of the associated gameplay. I think that'll be cool. Nope, you didn't miss any announcements, Bill, but that's a good point. There's going to be more. Just, you know, essentially taking the sense of place and expanding it a fair bit, Fish Guts. Hopefully that feels like a decent enough start of an answer for you. To Bill's point, we've got the editor and writer position open. You can find it on our Discord. That will be closed Friday. This Friday we'll close that because we've got some really solid applications already. So with those in hand already, we're going to go ahead and close that out. We got a lot of submissions. I've gone through everything that's been submitted to date. So now we just got to kind of work through our decision. We'll get back to the majority of folks this weekend or next week. We still have an environment artist position open and posted. Hey Jasmine, how much longer are you going to be up? About 5 minutes? Okay. I probably won't be up super late. It won't be a super long stream tonight. Friday, since Jasmine will be out of town, then I can maybe stream a little bit earlier, a little bit longer, something like that. Zim said working on the application was a lot of fun. Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Though I guess I'm assuming your Twitch name is different than the name you submitted on. Excuse me. Zaraki said, so it seems there will be way more interaction and story about the gods in this world. I don't, interaction might be subtle. You may not even know you're interacting with a god in some cases. You may not know that you're in possession of a god in some cases. You may not know that something you're doing is awakening or freeing a god in some cases. And then we'll see how the religion system shapes up. And see how much interaction is there, and then over time we'll see the degree to which, like, what we don't want to do though is, and I mean, I worked on Planes of Power, so I'm not knocking it, but you're at no point are you going to be going in and killing all of the gods. That's not going to happen, or at least not anytime soon. Planes of Power 2 Electric Boogaloo. Oh man, they really should do that. If they were to do a Planes of Power 2 Electric Boogaloo, I would be willing to consult on it. Oh yeah, yeah. Zaraki, that is yeah, that is kind of along the lines of thinking. You just need an entire expansion based on the god of paperwork to get an infinite amount of quests. Iker, that would be such a German god. And the only way to get into the plane of paperwork is you have to fax yourself there. The god of paperwork has the powerful spell of data protection. The ultimate excuse to impose any level of inconvenience. Datenschutz. We have to worry about the Datenschutz. Yeah, you're gonna need to take this scroll to Office 32, Clerk 14 to approve it. Everything that enters the zone of paper, the plane of paperwork, is immediately hit with a horrific slow spell. You must first have the correct TPS cover sheet. Yeah. God bless my wife. I'm glad that she's able to like weather the paperwork and stuff. Oh my gosh. Just putting in some spawns right now for those of you that aren't familiar with it. Just putting in some single spawns at the moment, and then giving them a little bit of movement with some go-to commands. Has the team talked about a farming skill? Yes, a lot. Ali is a farmer by trade. Let's see. There's some new Ali farming pictures actually. So there's definitely some love for farming. I don't think Ali would mind if I showed you. Do you want to see one of Ali's like farming pictures or a couple of farming pictures? I don't think he'll mind if I shared them. When I say farming, so Ali lives on the desert island of Bahrain. Here's a small portion of his farm kicking off some initial seedlings. He's shown me some pictures of like 14, I think he said like 10 14 meter tall like tomato plants that are pruned. They're basically the design, they just go vertically to maximize space utility, it seems like. And then they've got like little drip feeders in them that are controlled by sensors and all sorts of shit. Amazing. So yeah. So when Ali, like if you look at the team page on the website, and Ali's talking about, you know, we mentioned Ali's a farmer. He's a humble farmer. It's just there are different levels. See the little drip feeders in there. There's levels to this shit. Yeah, it's pretty wild, huh? Like it's just one of his day jobs. Another MP greenhouse, waiting for the little guys to get ready. And there's like several of these. They do their own like water desalination stuff since it's an island. Just really wild stuff. I feel extremely inadequate now that I'm proud I got my seeds from the last cilantro plant. They just brought it now. Don't feel bad. That's where I'm at. If you want to talk gardening and farming and shit, feel free to hit my like personal A Loving Robot Discord. We have a garden channel. My garden has been shit this year. It rained the whole time between the surgeries, like the finger amputation, the shoulder surgery. I got started a bit late. I just wasn't in the garden enough. Then it was rainy and other stuff, and I just felt really compelled to try to catch up on some work stuff, excuse after excuse. Next year, I'll have a hotspot at the garden house. I have my laptop up there so I can do some stuff during the morning. I'm going to try to go many more mornings take care of business, keep it weeded, all that sort of stuff. But it was a complete cluster this year. I wish we would have gotten some sun. We didn't get any sun this year. It was really crappy. Wait, WTF happened to your finger? I tore a tendon on the bottom side of my finger, so my finger was being pulled in, like, inverted because of the top tendon. And they told me they could either pin it and I'd have a little crooked finger that would get in the way and get broken all the time. Or they could try some surgeries, but it was going to be a low success rate and probably not full articulation. So I just asked them to cut it off, and they cut it off. Jasmine was like, they're not going to cut your finger off. I was like, I'm going to ask them to cut it off. And she's like, I don't think they just cut fingers off. And so the guy gave me the first two options. I was like, hey, I'm not trying to be extreme or crass or anything. I'm not trying to be like, gotcha, shocker, Mr. Cool, but can you just cut it off? And he laughed and just like nodded. He was like, that's option number 3. And sometimes guys are more willing to ask that than, you know, like, I guess he said ladies want to at least have something there. I was like, just chop that son of a bitch off. Let's, boom, chop it off, get going. I got a shoulder surgery to do. At first I was like, can we cut the finger off and do the shoulder surgery at the same time and I could just get recovery done at once? And the guy looked at me like, how are you going to wipe your ass? I was like, solid point. Okay, you're right. And so we staggered it. Sorry, it happened to you? It sounds like you're cool with it. Yeah, I'm super cool with it. I was really hoping to get this badass prosthetic, but my insurance was like, my German insurance is like, yeah, no. How about you? They were like, we'll give you a little rubber fake finger if you want. It's like an old magic trick. I could hide the handkerchief in my pinky. Just need to do a feet OnlyFans? What in the world? Oh, to be able to afford it? They wouldn't even give me a damn price. There was a football player that broke his finger and had it cut off so he wouldn't miss playoffs. That's what I'm talking about. Real G's. Dozakar said I have a yellow Peruvian pepper that got eaten down to the nub twice. I still got peppers off it. Yeah, that was the other thing. Dude, it wasn't bunnies for us. It was just slugs, man. It was so damp all year. It was just everything got eaten by slugs. Challenge your community with 3D printers. Make you a new finger. I would do it, but I hate asking the community for stuff. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want to bag for stuff. I don't want to bag for stuff. Why is English so hard now? Corned beef and cabbage for dinner tonight. That sounds delicious. Nori Brandyfoot was licking her lips when you mentioned nails and stuff. Ugh. That's how you get worms. Rings of Power reference? Oh, then I wouldn't get it. I have not watched a single episode. So there's a company that has has a fantastic design for the finger. It's just they told me that my finger nub wasn't the right size for it. I was like, I'm calling bullshit. They determined that my finger nub would not work with the prosthetic, which is just super odd to me because it's like it wasn't. This isn't an accident. It was surgically done. It's fairly standard. But they told me that after they found out what insurance I have. So I'm like, I'm going to call bullshit. So if somebody wants with a 3D printer wants to replicate their design, we can have that contest. If I promise to wear whatever somebody printed for me at least one day, you know how many penises I would have on my hand? I'm telling you, I'm not saying penises all the time just to be crass. But if you work in online games, time to penis, TTP, it's just a metric that we're aware of. It's something we always have to factor in. You give people the option to make something. Like, I'd have to set up a place for you to mail them to. They don't have P.O. boxes here in Germany. At least Jasmine doesn't think there is. So it'd just be like, at some point, customs would be like, Mr. Lord, why are you being sent so many plastic penis fingers? What are you doing? What is your plan? Are you going to provide a prosthetic pinky item in game? What ability would it provide? Well, here's the thing. And this is something I haven't discussed this with the design team much enough. It's Germany, they wouldn't question it at all. That's true. Penis fingers, this is normal. What was it? Blah, 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 blah. So designers cannot name items after themselves or make items about themselves in game. That is a rule that we've got to write down somewhere. You're not allowed to include yourself in game. Other team members can include you or reference you in some way in game, but you're not allowed to do yourself. That was just something that we had in place on EQ, and only one person ever put items named after themselves in game, and he went on the wall of shame, or at least will forever remember. Bentos? Bentos is items. Thought Bones referenced the team member. Yes, but that's fair, because I had not told Bill the rule yet. That's okay. That's different than Bentos putting his name on items. Base card of Bentos the hero. Now, I think we may have pulled his items out. Like, forced him to rename them at some point. We may have done that, but then, because we are nice people, actually put... put an item named after him in there, just so that we weren't mean, but I think that's probably the story. Like, I have 2 items named after me in EverQuest, and neither one of those, or I don't even know if I was aware of them at the time. Because they're both kind of tongue-in-cheek busting my balls a little bit. But they are also 100% accurate. I've got to get used to streaming again. So basically, until my mom visits in December, the stream should start to be relatively consistent, with the exception of next week. I have to apologize about next week. Fish guts, that may work. Eastan, I didn't say hi to you when you came in, buddy. Sorry about that. Hey, Vumbra. Good to see you. Next Wednesday, I may or may not stream. Next Friday, I will be out of town. We've got a big airsoft event next weekend. So not this coming weekend, but next weekend. What's up, Callum? Where did that go? Okay. The all-out war is going to be in the spring. Next weekend is going to be is this one. OP Chernobyl. It's 5 factions at this pretty big area. It's it's the same place where the big 3,000 person airsoft event is. But this is a little bit more. There's like some LARPing if you're a stalker or a scientist. You can also be a mutant. Then you can LARP a little bit. We're gonna be bandits because we wanna try to jack people. But there's, it's silly, it's fun. There's like a stalker bar where folks can meet, and then you've got to do quests. You get limited ammo, but you can take people's ammo if you kill them. Anything that's not loaded in magazines, I guess. You can earn money to buy more ammo and stuff by doing missions, and I guess you can, if you get to drop on people, you could offer to not kill them and take their cash. Like, you can rob them and stuff. So kind of a stalker, it's a stalker game themed airsoft event. It'll be a few hundred people. So we have Bala Hack near me, biggest in US. I have to look it up. Yeah, people fly over for the big one here. The big one here is Dark Emergency. It's like a festival slash 3,000 person event, which we'll be going to this one too in May, fighting for the militia for sure. So, yeah, man, it's all good fun. Peep Balak. Okay, let me check it out. Chesapeake. Looks pretty tight. Yeah, I wish I have to get a Chesapeake, Virginia. Kind of reminds me of when I was stationed in DC. One of the nearby bases, I forget if it was Belvoir or where, one of them had a pretty decent mount site that we'd go train at. We'd usually go in, we'd air assault in and then spend some time there. So I'll keep this up and then take a look at it off stream. Control Shift T. Yeah, this event's pretty big. I want to find the actual Airsoft Belden map. So this is the map of their facility, and just from like the camping area to, I think the bandit camp is up here. That's a kilometer. So it's about one at this narrow point, one by three and a half kilometers. That's a pretty decent. It's old, I forget, Bundeswehr or something base. So it's pretty big. Like these buildings, when you actually see them in videos and stuff, they're pretty decent size. So, and during the dark emergency, they have vehicles in play and stuff like that as well. So pretty exciting. So that's what I'll be doing next weekend. Hopefully, I'll be getting to shoot some folks. My wife and I will be there. "24/7 fighting, or is it only during certain times?" It's only during certain times for that one. They've got one that's like a 48-hour one. I think that's like narco themed or something like that. But for the two that we're going to, I think they wrap up at night. And then wake up the next day and kick it off again. But after next week, I swear I'll be a bit more consistent with streams for at least a couple months. Pinky promise. Pinky promise. Don't spoil my secrets, Hendo. All right. So we get started on new spawn points in this area. Tomorrow, got some new NPCs to create, new NPC spawn groups to create. I can hop in. I don't know if Jason's still out there, but I can hop in and if you want Jason, I can hop in and do spawning in the area that you're working on that I didn't want to show on stream because it's kind of cool and we don't have to show everything. So I can hop in there, get some placeholder spawns in, and then I'll look at your naming convention and stuff and try to keep things pretty consistent with the NPCs that you've got in Glass Flats and get that set up. Yeah. So, and then also write up some lore stuff related to that edition. Probably put it in Confluence. Should probably put it in Confluence, I guess. Yeah, but I'll do that stuff tomorrow. So over time, I'll be doing more streams more regularly. Like I said a minute ago, I will try to have a bit more sort of game focused work set up. That'll be once I'm streaming a little more regularly, it'll be easier to get back into groove. And then yeah, and then we'll see. We'll kind of see how things go. Next week, maybe I'll stream on Monday since I'll be gone Friday and may not stream on Wednesday. So we'll see. Keep an eye out for that. But like I said, Jasmine's going to be out of town on Friday, so it should make it pretty easy to stream on Friday. And you know, I may start early, may run late. We'll see. And I'll put aside some work so that we've got that specifically for stream time and try to keep it a little more focused. Miss the interview streams? Yeah, it's just interviews wind up being an additional. It's just, believe it or not, setting up interviews and doing them is work, right? Like wrangling people and getting them to commit and then having that ready to go. But I keep saying that I want to do more of them, but it's one of those things where maybe if I'm diligent and make the right notes and follow up with people, then we can get some done. I think the biggest other thing that has been a hurdle with doing interviews is I started the interviews when there was no project, so it was kind of neutral ground. It was fine. Then as the project was kind of ramping up, I was still doing some interviews, and so there was a little bit of discussion of it. But now it's like I'm a little worried that if I contact some folks or whatever, is it like, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but just some of the stuff that we're like, oh, we do shit this way. I guess in theory, if they do it a different way or whatever, then they can speak to that. And when we say that we don't do certain things, or if we say like, hey, we don't we're not taking money for early access or any of, you know what I mean? Like by early access, I mean, we're not taking money for like the playtests that we're doing now. Early access, once we go into early access, then we'll be taking money finally. But like we're not doing like pre-alpha, blah, blah. That's never meant to disparage somebody else. It's just, that's how we do it. Right. So it's, you know, if I get somebody on for an interview that's, or a discussion that's from another company and they're doing something different, you know, if I'm talking to, I don't even know what scenario that would be. Like somebody I know working on Star Citizen. I don't know. But yeah. So it might be a cool thing to do. It's just I never think about it. I've got so much shit on my mind these days. I never think about it until it's kind of like, oh well, like right now. But I'm not gonna get off here and immediately like try to set up an interview. Anyway, all right, it's getting late. Oh, by the way, we finally got fiber installed here in Germany. So hopefully that means things will be relatively stable. Hopefully the stream was like it didn't die on us, so that's good. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna wrap up for tonight. I'll be back on Friday, and we'll try to do a little bit more work. See you, Hindo. See you, Zukin. See you, Bill. And thanks, Dozakar. See you, buddy. Zeriki. You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Bye. D loves pudding. Good night, Fish Guts. Esan. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Sorry again, I didn't see you earlier. Tannhauser, goodbye. See you, Jason. Ida Fab. Bill. Chili Sauce. Liz Biscuits. See you Friday, Justin. Night, Nick. Bye, John. See you, Quicksana. Migs. Dark Inside. Checks. Have fun on Cheek, buddy. All right. Looks like that's it. I'll see you guys on Friday.